The following is a live presentation from Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Hello, my name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for this 8th day of December 2023. And as I finish my popcorn, this requested ALCS between the A's and the Tigers from 1972 has not gone the way that the person who's requested it has wanted it to go. Now, the good news for the Detroit Tigers, as they are down 2-0 in a best-of-5 series, is the next 3 games are in Detroit. That's the good news. Now, here's the bad. They can't lose again. It's a best-of-5, and Oakland has won the first 2 games easily. In fact, the Tigers, in 18 innings, haven't scored a run. Period. Oakland, in their 16 innings, because they didn't hit the bat in the bottom of the 9th inning, have scored 14. And they're going to go with Vida Blue in the possible clincher. The Tigers have thrown out their 2 best pitchers so far. They went with Mickey Lolich in Game 1. They went with Woody Fryman, who they captured off of waivers from the Phils, in Game 2. And today they're going to go with Joe Coleman, who on paper isn't as good as the other 2 pitchers. But sometimes you just don't know. The Tigers are going to go with pretty much their standard lineup. The A's are going to use Gene Tennis at second base. He's rated as a 1 there. He's not very good. But Dave Duncan gets the call behind the plate. It was an equally good defensive catcher. So Vida Blue and Joe Coleman next. The Tigers need to win to stay alive. If not, Monday we're going to go with the 1962 National League Playoff. So that's what's coming up. Hope you enjoy, and happy Hanukkah. As Retro Sports Network presents the 1972 American League Championship Series. Today from Tiger Stadium in Detroit, Michigan, it is the Oakland Athletics and the Detroit Tigers. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. We're talking hockey goalies tomorrow night on Digital Dice. You can join us live, I think, as we talk to an author. Okay. Cold and windy day here in Detroit. 53 degrees. Winds howling in from center at 27. The Tigers are going to go with Joe Coleman, who started 39 times. Not that particular Joe Coleman. He's 25 years old and not pitched for the Philadelphia A's. 19-14 in 72, a 2.80 ERA. As I said, 39 starts, 9 complete games. 280 innings, 216 hits. 23 homers, 110 walks, and 222 strikeouts, but really no margin of error for the Tigers. Here's how the A's line up in Game 3. Campaneris leads off at short. Joe Rudy in left will bat second. Reggie Jackson, who's had a magnificent series, hitting .667, in center, batting third. Epstein is at first. He'll clean up. Sal Bando down to fifth. He'll play third. Gene Tennis starts the game at second base. He can play there. He'll bat sixth in the order. Dave Duncan gets his ALCS start. The first one behind the plate, batting seventh. Angel Mangual in right will bat eighth. And Vida Blue, who can throw 115 pitches, will bat ninth. Defensively for the Tigers, who are home for the rest of this series, Willie Horton is a 2 and a 5 in left. Mickey Stanley a 7 and a 5 in center. Al Kaline a 6 and a 6 in right. Aurelio Rodriguez is a 9 and a third. Eddie Brinkman a 10 at short. Tony Taylor a 5 at second. Norm Cash a 4 at first. And Billy Freehan is an 8 and a 6 behind the plate. So Coleman is done tossing his warm-up pitches. Campanera stepping in 3 for 8 on the series, with a stolen base, a walk, and a strikeout. In Game 3, Starts with a ground ball to the mound, over to Cash, 1 out. 53 degrees, and again a heavy wind blowing in from center at 27, which I believe is the Webster's definition for blustery. Here is Joe Rudy. Joe 2 for 8, but those 2 hits have been big. How you doing, Zalapsky Smurf? Bonjour, bonsoir, madame et messieurs. Rudy, 250, a homer, a double, and 3 RBI. And there's a fly ball to center. Stanley in this play today. He'll make the catch, 2 out. Here's Reggie, 4 for 6 on the series. A double, a homer, and 4 RBI. He has also scored 4 times and struck out just once. Coleman's pitch, and Reggie draws the 2-out walk. For Mike Epstein, 1 for 6 on the series. He does have a double, an RBI. He has scored twice and walked twice. And again, Coleman can't be nibbling. He's got to throw strikes. There goes Jackson, fly ball to right. K-Line in the corner makes the catch, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, a runner left on after half an inning. As Canada's biggest sporting day, maybe since Wayne Gretzky decided what he was going to do, as Mr. Ohtani is looking at Toronto. And won't that upset all the Yankee fans? After half an inning, Oakland nothing, here come the Tigers. Tony Taylor hits a ground ball to third. Bando over to first, as my computer is being stupid again. 1 out. Vida Blue only had 23 starts, coming off his amazing 1971. 6-10 the record, but an earned run average of 280. Blue is 23. Fastball at 91 and a ground ball pitcher. Went 151 innings, 117 hits. 11 homers, 48 walks, and 111 strikeouts. Billy Freehan, by the way, 2 for 6 with 2 walks. Taylor led off and plays second. Freehan batting second behind the plate. Al K-Line in right will go third. Norm Cash cleans up at first. Willie Horton is in left. He'll bat fifth. Mickey Stanley back in center today. He'll bat sixth. Aurelio Rodriguez at third goes seventh. Eddie Brinkman at short goes eighth. And Coleman, who is on the mound, can throw 120 pitches, through 14 in his after the first, going ninth. So Cash, the only lefty to face the lefty blue. Defensively for Oakland, Joe Rudy an 8-8 in left. Reggie Jackson a 4 and an 8 in center. Mangual a 6 and a 5 in right. Bando a 7 at third. Camp up. Don't know what that was about, but here we are. I'm back. So 2 out here in the first, and here's K-Line. So I'm not sure if Blue's strikeout of Freehan was there. It says unstable. So, okay. So not sure what's going on here. But we'll play on. K-Line hits a ground ball to Campaneris deep in the hole, over to first for the out. So after that, It's a windy day here in Detroit after half an inning, no score. And I'm having trouble of some sort, so we'll see. Here is Sal Bando. Sal, 2 for 6 on the series. An RBI and a double. Coleman starts the second. Ground ball to Taylor, over to Cash for the out. 1 away. So here's Gene Tennis, 1 for 7 on the series. Has a single, RBI, and a run scored. I'm assuming that we're getting through. Struck him out. Coleman got him on a 1-2 curve, looking 2 out. For Dave Duncan, who's getting his first licks of the series, 218 the average, 19 homers, and 59 RBI. The stream says, I'm unstable. If they only knew. Pitch to Duncan. Ground ball to third. Rodriguez has it. Throws to first. And that will retire the side. So the A's go in order in the second. Joe Coleman doing what he's got to do. And after an inning and a half, there's no score. So here is Norm Cash, 1 for 8 on the series with 3 strikeouts. The only lefty here to face. Now I'm saying it's excellent. Okay. So you guys seeing this all right? Pitch to Cash. Fly ball, right center field. Mangual coming in. Rides a Schwinn. Makes the catch, 1 out. Horton 3 for 7. Never make fun of Wendy Mesley. That's a lesson I'm taking out of that one, Zalapsky Smurf. Horton 3 for 7, 2 singles, a double, and a strikeout. The story that Zalapsky Smurf read, that Ohtani's decision was imminent, and this is the biggest decision in baseball history. Pitch to Horton. How you doing, Bernie? Line drive to Epstein, 2 out. Discuss. I see it. Okay. So did you get the big CBC joke I had earlier? Stanley is 0 for 4 in this series. He played game 1. Did not play yesterday like it really mattered. Actually, I think he pinch hit yesterday. And is 0 for 4 overall. Okay. So the half-hour special on the CBC after they take it from the Japanese broadcasting companies, with exhaustive discussion from Peter Mansbridge coming off retirement. They're going to dig up Knowlton Nash to help facilitate the conversation. We'll discuss the nature of things with David Suzuki, and then Wendy Mesley will have a special afterwards, and that's when I got thrown off. So all that on the CBC after the Ohtani decision. Pitch to Stanley is a ground ball to Campaneris, who makes a diving stop by the bag at second, over to Epstein, and Mickey is retired. What a play by Campy, and after 2, no runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the third here in game 3, no score. So here's Mangual, Vida Blue, and then Campaneris to face Coleman here in the third. Mangual 3 for 8 on the series. He has 3 singles and 3 RBI. Oh, goodness gracious, Buffy St. Marie wasn't invited. But and now there was Rita McNeil's. Scotty's going to wonder what Wayback Machine he jumped into today. Pitch to Mangual. Struck him out. That's 2 for Coleman. An 0-2 fastball swung on and missed. 1 away for Vida Blue. Blue, not much of a hitter. 2 for 45 and 72. That's a .44 or 0.44 batting average. You don't even get drunk with that number. Got him. That's 3 for Coleman. A 1-2 curve. Got him looking. So 2 out for Campaneris, who's 0 for 1. Coleman opening 9, 37 pitches, 2 2/3, a walk and 3 strikeouts. Now, remind me, because I didn't look this up before going on. Is Ohtani a free agent, or would this be a trade for the Jays? And if he's a free agent, how much is your internet bill going to go up? Because for those of us in the States who may or may not know how this works up there, he's a free agent, okay. Rogers Communications is the owner of the Toronto Blue Jays, and they are also the largest cellular provider and provides the cable and internet for large chunks of the country. So if it is Ohtani to the Jays, strap yourself in accordingly if you are a Rogers customer. Pitch to Campy. Little ground ball down to third. Rodriguez has it over to Cash. And Campaneris is retired. 2.5 in the books. No runs, no hits, no errors. It's the A's nothing, the Tigers nothing. Speaking of bending you over a barrel for money, when is the Rogers hockey deal done? The Rodriguez, Brinkman, and Coleman here in the third. Aurelio 1 for 7 on the series with a single. Blue starts the inning with a ground ball to Bando. Sal's got it, throws to Epstein for the out. There's a huge story about that. Rogers may reel back the hockey deal. This plus 2 more seasons. Huh. They could share it with Bell, I suppose. Ed Brinkman is 0 for 6. Blues pitch. Right backed up the box, off the back of Vida Blue's leg. Kicks it over to Campaneris, over to Epstein for the very bizarre 1-6-3. When is front page challenge with Gordon Sinclair? Holiday baseball. How you doing, John? Yeah, the NHL deal, that was a bad deal to begin with. Now, when I finally moved out on my own in 92 and didn't have to watch Star Trek in college, it was the best of Wayne and Schuster, front page challenge, and then Hockey Night in Canada. Joe Coleman is 9 for 82. That's a 110 average with 5 RBI. 2 out here in the third. Blues pitch. Struck him out. So both pitchers throwing blanks. 9 up, 9 down for the Tigers. And after 3, it's the A's nothing, the Tigers nothing. It sounds like front page challenge was pretty close to what's my line down here. Our mystery guest is an athlete. Gordon, you have the first guess. Remember watching front page challenge and being kind of scared that there wasn't anyone on that panel that had a natural hair color. Joe Rudy is 0 for 1. The best thing about that first year I lived on my own, it was 92-93, and that was the last Canadian Stanley Cup. Or Canadian Stanley Cup, for that matter. Pitch to Rudy to start the third, or fourth. Fly ball left field. Horton doesn't even have to move and will make the catch. 1 out. Here's Reggie. He walked his first time up. The hair color worked in black and white. Color TV, not so much. I know game shows skew old, but that was a bit ridiculous. Reggie walked his first time up. The lone base runner for the A's, by the way. He strikes out. That's 4 for Coleman. 1-2 fastball at 95. Swung on and missed. So here's Epstein. Mike is 0 for 1. And there's a high fly ball to right. Back goes K-Line away back there. 1-0 Oakland. So Epstein gets the first hit for anybody in the ball game and the first run. And so now Oakland has outscored the Tigers 15-0 in this series. Just a shot down the line to right. And that's it. Again, if the offense isn't going to play ball for the Tigers, Coleman has no margin for error, and you could really hear the air deflate out of the balloon. So here's Sal Bando. He is 0 for 1, tennis on deck. There's a ground ball to Coleman over to Cash for the out. And it goes without saying, as we go to the bottom of the fourth, the solo homer for Epstein. The first hit of the ball game by Epstein and no errors. And it's the A's 1, the Tigers nothing. Taylor strikes out. So I still haven't given you Tony's numbers. First 2 games of the series, 7-0 shutouts. It was a 3-hitter by Catfish Hunter in game 1, and Kenny Holtzman had to shut out in game 2. Taylor is now 1 for 10 on the series with 2 strikeouts. Blue, opening 9 of 3 1/3, or 10, 3 1/3 and 3 strikeouts. Freehan struck out his first time up. And finally, it goes without saying that front page challenge and the best of Wayne and Schuster are things you're never going to hear about on a Fortnite stream. Ground ball to third. Bando has it over to Epstein for the out. So here's Al Kaline. He is 0 for 1. I believe the Tigers have been held to 10 hits in now 21 innings. Ground ball to Campaneris. Burt has it, throws to first, and that'll do. So Blue, pretty good through 4. No runs, no hits, no errors. 12 up, 12 down. So Tennis, Duncan, and Mangual. Way out west, remember Bruno Gerussi and the Beachcombers. And Beachcombers. Scotty lives north enough in Washington that you probably could get the CBC without cable. Pitch to Tennis, who struck out his first time up, goes down again. Fastball right down Broadway and a 1-2. One out for Duncan, who's 0 for 1. And oh, by the way, to tie the CBC back into baseball and something relevant here, it was their kinescopes that they sent out to the hinterlands of the Northwest Territories and Yukon is the only reason why a lot of World Series games from the 60s exist, including the entire 68 series, the entire 65 series, the first 2 games of the 69 series, because the CBC recorded them for playback later. Otani brings Japanese lumber to Canada. Next on the Beachcombers. We had the... No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Scotty. It's close, though. You had one of the few U.S. TV stations that featured Canadian commercials, only 20 miles from the border. Burlington, Vermont, back in the 70s, had quite a few Canadian commercials. It was always weird to be watching something on NBC or CBS at night, or even ABC, and then see a commercial in French. Laws have changed that now, so we don't get them, but yes. Well, we're 3 hours away. At one point, the 3 American network affiliates had sales offices in Montreal. Pitch to Duncan. Why are we so slow here? There's a ground ball to Brinkman. Eddie's got it. He throws to Cash for the out. There was good money in the Canadian market till they started to sim sub. Zalapsky Smurf says, we're the opposite. We got Buffalo commercials here. Always enjoyed knowing what was on special at Tops, a good grocery store chain. They merged with the one that we shop at. Mangual, by the way, struck out his first time up. Coleman deals. Popped up. Left side, Brinkman. And that'll bring us to the break. We're halfway home on a warm day in Burlington. We've had one hit in this ball game. Halfway through Game 3, it's Oakland 1, Detroit nothing. Well, if you joined us late, let's take an exhaustive look of how we got here. The lone hit of the ball game, only one in the entire game, came in the fourth inning, and it was a solo homer down the line by Mike Epstein. Vida Blue and Joel Coleman can't be pitching any better. Coleman, a one-hitter through 5 with a home run, and Vida Blue has struck out 3 through 4 and has faced the minimum of 12 batters. Cash, Horton, and Stanley do up. Blue starts the 5th. Struck him out. That's 4 for Vida Blue. A 1-2 curve in there. Strike 3 for Willie Horton. We're not going to just say 0 for 1. Just assume that no one has a hit. Into left field, that's well struck. Joe Rudy by the pins makes the catch. It is a cold, cold day here in Detroit. 46 degrees, and that wind is howling in from center at 29. And if you're watching in Windsor, Alexa, how many kilometers is 29 miles?
29 miles is about 46.7 kilometers.
So that's the wind, 46.7 kilometers blowing in from center field. Stanley, it's a ground ball to Campanera. It's a diving stop almost on the grass. Throws to first, and they got him. 15 up, 15 down. We go to the 6th. It's Oakland 1, Detroit nothing. Shall we pinch hit for Vida Blue? He struck out his first time up. So poor Joe Coleman. He's pitching pretty much the game of his life. And he's gotten nothing in support. Struck him out. He got Blue to chase on a 2-2 cutter. So 18 batters deep for Coleman, 75 pitches, 5 1/3, and the lone hit of the ball game. That home run to Epstein in the 4th. He has walked 1 and struck out 6. Campaneris is 0 for 2. Flares this one high in the sky. Brinkman on the grass has it for the out, 2 away. For Joe Rudy, who's 0 for 2. Zalapsky, my dad grew up in Fredonia. And so we got when we went to visit once, we got the Buffalo stations, the Toronto stations, and the Erie, Pennsylvania stations. Rudy hits a ground ball left side, and that's a base hit. Only the second hit of the ball game for Oakland. And that brings up Reggie, who has walked and struck out. He's 0 for 1. 2 out here in the 6th. 1-0 A's. Coleman deals, and Reggie draws the walk. So Coleman paces around the mound and will face Mike Epstein, who hit a home run in the 4th. The A's have outscored the Tigers in this series 15-0. And the Tigers' scoreless streak is now at 23 innings. Chopper to first. Cash has it. Takes it to the bag, and that will retire the side. So for the first time today, we'll have runners. Well, apparently Oakland left one on before. They'll leave on two. They get a hit, and that's it. After 5.5, 1-0 Oakland. And so Vida Blue in that green, emerald green uniform for the A's digs his hole on the mound. Rodriguez, Brinkman, and Coleman here in the 6th. Blue starts the inning. Struck him out. That's 5. An 0-2 changeup. Rodriguez wanted a fastball, and Blue took enough off it to chase. So here's Brinkman. Ground ball to third. Bando, a tough play by the bag across to Epstein. 2 out. So here's Joe Coleman. Joe is 0 for 1. Chopper to Mike. Epstein to the bag. 18 up, 18 down. Hi, your friends. This is amazing. We go to the 7th, 1-0 A's. So Coleman gives me the fatigue warning. Bando, Tennis, and Duncan here in the 7th. Sal is 0 for 2. Right back to Coleman. 1 out. Zalapsky Smurf says because of the limited hockey on TV, 2 games a week. For the Leafs, we saw more Gilbert Perreault than Darryl Sittler. In the late 70s, wouldn't that have been a blessing in disguise? Here's Tennis. He has struck out twice. Hi, Jamie. How are you? Fly ball, left field. Back goes Horton, way back there, and that is off the wall. So Tennis goes into second standing. It's only the third of the ball game for everybody. And so here is Dave Duncan, who is 0 for 2. Excuse me, it hit him. Duncan wheels down to first. A 1-2 fastball got him in the ribs. So here's Mangual. And for the Tigers, it's about to become all undone. If Oakland wins, Monday we'll have Game 1 of the 1962 National League. I hesitate to call it a championship series, but the longest season in National League history, the Dodgers and the Giants. That will be after this series is resolved. Mangual is 0 for 2. Little ground ball down to Cash. Norm's going to grab it. Goes to Brinkman for 1. Mangual is going to reach. Tennis to third. And Vida Blue, with the weight of the world on his shoulders, is going to hit here with 2 out in the 7th. He has struck out twice. He's 0 for 2. So Tennis on third, a huge insurance run. And Mangual on first. Coleman's pitch struck him out. Stretch time, 1-0 A's. And it didn't do the 7th inning stretch. Never had that before. Anywho. So here's Tony Taylor. Finally, I can tell you, he's 0 for 2 in the strikeout, 1 for 10 on the series. Blue, 18 batters, 77 pitches, 6 innings, 5 strikeouts. And 9 outs away from an amazing ball game. There goes the no-hitter. It's a line drive into left center for a single. And the Tigers have their first hit of the ball game. So here's Billy Freehand, who is 0 for 2 with the strikeout. 1-0 A's. Nobody out. Bottom of the 7th. And that ball is long gone into the second deck. And for the first time in the entire series, the Tigers have runs. It puts them up on the board. And the jinx is real. So Billy Freehand, for the moment, has saved the Tigers' bacon. The wind is blowing in from right at 31. And so Freehand just unleveled on that pitch. My goodness. So 2-1 Tigers, 2 out, or nobody out here in the 7th. K-Line 0 for 2. And so it took the Tigers 24 innings to get on the board in this series. And K-Line gets hit. Oh. K-Line and Blue just kind of have a stare down. Why in the world would you hit Al K-Line? And now you got 50,000 here at Tiger Stadium who are ready to rain fire down on Vida Blue. Here's Norm Cash. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Line drive to Tennis. And he throws to first, and they double off K-Line. So Gene Tennis, who is just kind of a bat playing second base, makes a huge play. They double off K-Line. And here's Willie Horton. He is 0 for 2. In the right center, Reggie moving over will make the catch, and that'll do it. However, he hit him to set up the double play. There you go. Had him all the way. There goes the perfect game. The Tigers, for the first time in the series, take the lead. 2 runs on the homer by Billy Freehand and 2 hits. And after 7, it's 2-1 Detroit. So Coleman will try to get through the inning. Campaneris, Rudy, and Jackson. Joe, 27 batters, 112 pitches, 7 innings, 3 hits, a homer, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. I've never had a perfect game. Campy is 0 for 3. Slow ground ball down to Cash, who's going to try to outrun Campaneris, and he can't do it. So Lapsky Smurf is a good Canadian. He paid a cell phone bill today to ensure Otani comes there. Good for you. Why you gave that money to Bell, I don't know, but Rogers thanks you nonetheless. So Campy, who can fly at first, is the tying run. Joe Rudy is 1 for 3 with a single. Coleman throws to first, and Campaneris is back. Now we're going to pitch out. Campy holds. Rudy takes a ball. So Coleman right at the end of his pitch count with nobody out here in the 8th. There goes Campaneris, the throw down to Taylor, and Campy has his 2nd stolen base of the series. So the tying run is already in scoring position. Coleman will pitch to Rudy, and that'll probably be it. The 1-1. Walked him, and that'll do it. So the A's, will make it after he faces Jackson. Pitch to Reggie, 0 for 1. Struck him out. I hate Windows Update sometimes. So they get the big out there. John Hiller will come in. Hiller started 3 games. In fact, he went the distance once. He pitched in 24, 1-2, with 3 saves and an earned run average of .203. John is 29, fastball at 87, and a ground ball plus pitcher. Epstein 1 for 3. He hit that home run in the 4th. So Campaneris on second. He's a tying run. Rudy, the go-ahead run, is on first, and Reggie struck out just a moment ago. So that's where we are here. 1 out, top of the 8th inning. Epstein, a slow ground ball to Taylor. Might be 2. Brinkman for 1. But Epstein is going to go to first. And Alan Lewis will pinch run. So the A's churn the wheels. 2 outs for Bando, who was 0 for 3. Hiller trying to lock this down here in the 8th. And play game 4 Monday at noon Eastern. Pitch to Bando. Struck him out. So Mike Hegan comes into play first. He will bat 4th. Is also a left-handed hitter. He's a 7. No other changes. Blue to pitch the 8th. 94 pitches. Stanley, Rodriguez, and Brinkman, and if anybody should reach the pitcher's spot. Stanley is 0 for 2. Blue starts the 8th. Right back to Vida. Throws to Hegan. 1 out. So here's Rodriguez. Aurelio 0 for 2 with the strikeout. I'm hearing in my ear that Wendy Misley says that that Anaheim is not in real contention for Mr. Ohtani. Pitch to Rodriguez. There's a fly ball, center field. Reggie moves over, makes the catch. 2 out for Eddie Brinkman, who's 0 for 2. So Vida Blue, if they don't get a run in the 9th, will have given up 2 hits. The single to Taylor and the 2-run homer to Freehand to extend this series to a game 4. Pitch to Brinkman. There's a high ground ball to third. Bando's got it over to first, and that will retire the side. So Blue kind of shakes his head. John Hiller will try to close this one out. 2 runs, 2 hits, and no errors for the Tigers. They haven't left anybody on. The A's, a run on 4 hits, no errors, and they have left on 7. Tennis, Duncan, and Mangual, your mileage may vary on what Oakland does here in the 9th. They need 1 to tie and 2 to go ahead. Hiller starts the 9th, and Tennis draws the walk. And so, where's Todd B? George Hendrick will pinch run. Hendrick with good speed. Here's Dave Duncan. We'll see what they do with Dave. He's 0 for 2. So Hendrick, the tying run at first. And to answer Scotty's question, if the A's win, the next Dodger game is Monday. If the Tigers win, then this series will continue on Monday. Pitch to Duncan. Struck him out. 1 away. A 1-2 fastball got him looking. So here's Mangual, who is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Hiller allowed to blow on his hands. The wind is now shifted right to left at 31. It is a cold day in Detroit. Mangual, ground ball down to first. Cash goes to Brinkman for 1, but Mangual is going to reach. And Blue Moon Odom will pinch run at first. And Odom has good speed. I can't imagine with 2 out in a 1-run game that Vida Blue is going to hit here. Last chance saloon for Detroit, or for Oakland here in game 3. And Tim Cullen will pinch hit. Cullen went 0 for 4 in game 1. He has no power, so you wouldn't have to worry about a home run off of Hiller here. As you can hear the piston engine plane landing behind me. So Hiller with 2 out here in the 9th. Tying run on first. The winning run potentially at the plate. And that's a base hit into center field. Stanley will pick it up, and Collins got himself a double. So the A's, they're swinging, they're fighting, and they're not out of it. So here's Campaneris, who was 1 for 4. He has singled and stolen a base. A base hit here would probably put them ahead. Iller looks to Martin in the dugout, and Billy says, he's your man. Don't throw out his... Actually, you know what? This is a situation 1 game later. Throw out his ankles. See if Campy just kind of flings the bat at Hiller. John with a big gulp. Kicks and fires. Slow ground ball to Brinkman, over to Cash, and there's a game 4 on Monday. The Tigers win this by the score of 2-1. Two hours and 58 fake minutes. You know what? The A's have not gone to the pen in this series. They would have if they had tied or gone ahead here in the 9th. But for the 3rd straight game, the A's go the distance. Billy Freehand is going to be your Digital Dice MVP. He had 1 of the 2 hits. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors. And the Tigers didn't leave anybody on. There's only probably a handful of times in baseball history when you got a hit in a ball game and didn't leave anybody on. The A's left on 9. Freehand's homer wins it in the 7th. He's your Digital Dice MVP. Poor Vida Blue. He he threw 6 perfect innings. Allowed 2 hits. 2 runs. The homer by Freehand, and that was it. He struck out 5. Joe Coleman goes 7 1/3. 4 hits. The home run by Epstein in the 4th, which was the first hit of the ball game. He walked 3 and struck out 8. John Hiller retires the last 5. He did 7 batters to do it. A walk and a hit in the 9th to pick up the save. So the Tigers, again, they have home field. And so this series continues on serve on Monday. And with Detroit now back in it. They trail 2-1, but a win on Monday, and it's a winner-take-all Game 5 on Wednesday. Well, despite the game crash, or the stream crash and all that, be a fast stream, under 50 minutes. Hope everyone is doing well. Dave and I will be talking to an author about the best hockey goalies of all time tomorrow night at 6 Eastern. Until then, have yourselves a great Friday. So long, everybody.